The Doctors is all new today. How old is too old for a woman to give birth?
Men have been doing this for years. Why not women?
They say 40 is the new 30.
A woman over 40 has 1 in 100 chance of having a baby with Down syndrome. Over 45, it goes to 1 in 30.
It was devastating to get the news.
Coming up right now on The Doctors.
Joining us again is Dr. Bill Sears. He's an associate clinical professor of pediatrics at the University of California, Irvine, and more importantly, dad to our very own Dr. Jim Sears. This father and son team has experienced our next topic firsthand. Jim's youngest brother has Down syndrome, which affects thousands of children in the United States. And for our next guest, Pam, everything seemed picture perfect until she received the news in the delivery room that would ultimately change her life forever.
They talk often about how moms have premonitions. I said to my mom that I just can't wait for him to be here. I'm nervous about something and I don't know why.
When he opened his eyes, it sunk in my gut because I recognized that look.
They sent my husband down, and with tears in his eyes, he looked down at me and said that they believe that Torin has Down syndrome. Once that official diagnosis came down, we were given a social worker. So we really were blessed in that somebody held our hand and took us through the process. Automatically, the idea of this perfect, ideal family, that's shattered. All of that experience that I have for 3 other kids is thrown out the window. It's like I'm a new mom for the first time. Good. And can you show me A? Torin, try. A, good job. A child with Down syndrome will always have to learn to sit, then to crawl, then to stand, then to walk. And the pressure that you feel as the parent can get overwhelming. So you have to take a little bit of a step back and say, it's okay.
Good. The balance development he's doing by running around the uneven grass and just trying to kick the ball, the motor development, all those things, it's all helping.
He is progressing amazingly well, very close to being age appropriate in all developmental milestones. My hope for Torin, just like all of my children, would be that he becomes the best at whatever he could be. Hopefully that would be that he could live independently, have his own separate life, have his own job, drive a car, go to college. Can you say apple? Apple. Good job, yay!
Well, one thing I noticed that entire segment is you can't fake the smile that you had on your face.
No, you can't.
But you went through a real grieving process when you found out.
Absolutely. It was devastating to get the news. We had no idea that Torin was going to be born with Down syndrome. And things that I think about the most is my husband's eyes, that he actually was the one who came and told me that they believed that Torin had Down syndrome, and it was devastating. It felt like this idea of the perfect family was gone forever, and it's through support from support groups and family and friends and just living with Torin day to day that you realize that, you know, that perfect family is still there. It's just not the idea that you thought it was going to be.
So you wouldn't change a thing?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I would not. They're wonderful. He is a joy. He's a joy to our family.
Travis, you know, when I have to break the news to parents, it's really hard because it's technically bad news, but I want to tell them, you know, I've got a brother with this, and this really isn't bad news.
Well, Dr. Bill, explain to everyone at home what Down syndrome is.
Well, Down syndrome, Travis, if we can see the chromosomes, and here we're about to see a fertilization. We all can't wait. And there's the chromosomes, and they're coming into view. Now, normally, we all have 23 chromosomes in each cell. A child with Down syndrome has an extra 21 chromosomes. So they have 321 chromosomes. That's why they're called trisomy 21. So they have an extra 21 chromosomes.
And the most common genetic defect in children.
Exactly. And what I got from watching your beautiful video of Torin and a beautiful baby.
Thank you.
Is that he's more alike than different. In fact, I'll tell you a story right before the set. Stephen is a normal 19-year-old in some ways. Amorous. And so he picks out the prettiest girl behind the set and goes up and says, Are you married? Could I have your phone number? Now, this is more alike than different.
Absolutely.
I forget in my office all the time. In the back of my mind, I remember all the things I need to watch for, the cardiac problems, the vision problems, the potential thyroid problems. You know, the doctors we still need to do our job, but, I treat them as normally as possible, and it's so fun when I walk into the room in the office and I, for a split second, forget that there's anything different about them.
And I like what Dr. Jim said. He didn't say Down syndrome kids.
No.
He said kids with Down syndrome.
Exactly.
It's a people-first mentality that we professionals have got to have.
I think, too, the thing that was probably the best piece of advice that I got is that Down syndrome is something that he has. It doesn't define who he is.
Absolutely.
And that definitely
well
is.
said.
And Pam's son, Torin, truly is an amazing boy. Let's meet this little guy. Hey! Hey, it's Mommy!
Give everybody a high five.
Five.
Give them a high five.
Five.
Give a high five.
High five.
Can you give a high five?
Five.
And that was, by the way, that was the pretty lady backstage that Stephen was hitting on earlier, Chelsea, the PA.
Do you have any questions for Dr. Bill or Dr. Jim?
You know,
Because
I guess, yeah, well, all the lights and all the people, I think, are a little overwhelming. But I think, one of the things that we've always been told is Torin does very well. And I guess you're always, as a new parent, waiting for the other shoe to drop. And, where might there be a plateau? Or when you see someone who is doing this well, how might he fit into a full inclusion type situation at school?
The full inclusion, Pam, is wonderful. We did that with Stephen, and that means where he goes into a normal class. And I remember the day I talked to the teacher, and the teacher said, I have to admit, I didn't want a different child upsetting my normal routine with normal, typical kids. At the end of the year, she asked all 27 students to write a note what they thought for Stephen. And 26 out of 27 said Stephen made them better people by being in class. So,
well, we're lucky because Stephen is here with us today, as well as your wife. Hey, Stephen.
How you doing, buddy?
hey, Steve.
How you doing, man?
So Jim and I were talking earlier about how much you like sports.
I like football practice, and I had championship football game, and it's great. This game is just wonderful. And this is me, this is the flag, running, I had the ball, and I scored a touchdown.
What about the Olympics, Stephen?
Yeah.
Did you do those?
Yeah, I just know it was me, I was pitching.
Do you have any medals?
Yes, I do.
Do you have some medals?
Yeah, my mom has it.
Oh, okay.
And Martha, I have to ask you, how do you control all these men in your life?
One at a time. And just being a mother of 5 boys has just been the most amazing experience. Having, of course, 3 daughters balances that very nicely. Thank you very much. And our last boy, we just got an extra helping, an extra blessing. My family has had to work through some tough spots with us on some things in the past. Jim's been a big help as the biggest brother, but Stephen has made us all proud.
Well, thanks, Stephen. And thanks for sharing your big brother with us each and every day.